Hey everyone, Keenan Gray here from DyeStat.com, bringing you another edition of DyeStat discussions. The two boys on my left and right, they are now number one and number two all time in high school indoor mile, and oddly enough, they are also going to the University of Washington next year to run for the Huskies. Owen Powell and Josiah Tostenson, who both dipped under Hobbs Kessler's national record time of 3:57 some change. I know Josiah ran 3:57, and now Owen Powell's ran 3:56. So, Owen, I think the last time you and I chatted was at the Husky Classic. You told me you were not going to race at all the rest of the season. What was a change of heart?
I don't know. I think just like for some reason we had this week off of school, so like I wasn't really gonna miss. We have this thing called midwinter break here, and since my parents both had work, so we weren't going anywhere. And then just kind of last minute, we're like just like it could be a fun trip going over to Boston. My mom was already going there with a couple of her athletes, and yeah, it was just kind of like one last shot. Like my goal was to break 4 this indoor season, and since I already had it, it was just one more chance, like low pressure, and I'm really glad I did it because I had a lot of fun and I'm really happy with the result.
I'm gonna have to be sure to tell your mom that she doesn't have. You just said she doesn't have a job, which I think she does have a job. So, and that's coaching athletes. But
Yeah,
no, but like going back to what you did at Husky Classic, like that was such a huge deal for yourself. I mean, again, as I said, was it kind of a change of heart? I mean, would you have been just fine just calling it good after that race? I mean, you did what you accomplished, but it was also done on a 300-meter track.
that's true. That really the 300-meter track thing, like that didn't really, I guess, bother me at all. It was more just I thought I had a little bit more in me. Like I think I had some tactical errors on my race at Husky Classic, or is that what the meet it was?
Hmm.
Yeah,
At
yeah.
Husky Classic. Yeah, I think I just had a little bit more left in the tank and it had just enough. I think I had some more room for improvement. And I think my results 2 days ago proved that. So I'm glad I gave it one more shot.
Well, Josiah, this has been in the making, since your freshman year. I mean, the sky was the sky was through the roof, or whatever the phrase is. I mean, for you as a freshman with the national record, I believe, was it the 1500? For 1500 or mile, one of the
Yeah.
two. But
Wow.
to now have this come to fruition, and you finally are able to not only break 4, but just dismantle it. Tell the people out there what how this feels for you.
Yeah, I mean, it feels great, obviously, after, say, being a freshman and setting a national record, people put a lot of expectations on you, a lot of threads. So I had to make sure that I could just like test myself through all that and still be a great athlete no matter how high the pressure is. And I think that'll just shape up for the future for sure.
Yeah. Talking with your coach last week at the Husky Classic, he said you guys kind of want to get a taste of the BU track, and this was an opportunity for you guys to, go to a kind of a last chance meet. Uh, Tell people that decision and what led to that. I mean, it's pretty easy just to say, everyone's been running fast at this facility, but I mean, you're going from Oregon all the way to the other side of the country.
Yeah, basically just 3K went great, and after that we had the mile the next day. We were talking about just either doing a workout or finishing it, so we just decided to go out hard, and then me and Taven both decided to finish it, and it went pretty good. I ended up to come away with a PR, and after that we got to watch Owen go crazy in the mile after that. So after that, I think my coach, we really wanted to just test a fresh mile. Like I had one other prior fresh mile, but I don't think it went the way I wanted to, and I knew I was a lot more fit than that. So we just decided it'd be perfect timing and basically the last chance, like last chance meet. Like I'm not, nobody knows how many miles I'm gonna run last mile indoor season, so wanted to. I mean, I knew I was in the fitness to run sub 4, so we all figured it was worth it to just hop on the flight and go to BU. And obviously, the track is super fast there, and the energy's high there, and you go there all the way from Oregon, so you have the expectations that you got to go there and get done what you plan to get done.
Now, when did you two find out, or did one of you convince the other? It's like, hey, come to Boston with me. Like, I know, Owen, you said you were going to go with your mom regardless. It sounded like because a couple of her athletes were going there. But when did you two kind of connect, and even Taven in the mix as well? Kind of like, all right, I'll see you guys in Boston.
I think we mentioned it. We kind of like mentioned it a little bit, like coming around the end of the meet, I think. But I think it was maybe Wednesday. is when we found out we were both going to Boston. And I don't know, I think Owen called me and we were just like, we're headed to Boston, blah, blah, blah. I don't really remember exactly how it went down, but I think it was Wednesday because I didn't even know I was going until I think Tuesday night is when I bought the tickets. So
Mhm.
it was pretty, I think around Wednesday.
Yeah. Owen, from your perspective, what was that conversation like?
Yeah, I remember you just kind of like vaguely talking about it at UW, and then I remember just seeing like I wasn't sure how how likely it was for you to actually pull the trigger on that, but then seeing you actually in the entries was pretty hype. Like knowing I wasn't going to be the only high schooler there, and it was going to be you and Taven was pretty fun.
Yeah. From both your, kind of looking far away at what's happened at BU this year. You saw what Ethan Strand has done, and now that you guys have gotten a taste of what the BU track is like, I know Josiah, you talked about this a little bit, like it's pretty magical. Owen, how did you like? What did you kind of like feel? What the vibe was like at BU?
I mean, it was just kind of like just getting on that track. You can honestly feel the bounce. It's really strange because even once you get off the track, like onto like the little gray side, you can just it's like stepping off a trampoline. Like you almost like fall over. And I think that on top of like the placebo aspect, everyone goes to BU to try to run fast. That's pretty cool, and just like the atmosphere as well. Except this meet was really weird because there just was not a whole lot of people there, which honestly, and us being kind of the first event as well, like we were able to do some of our warm up on the inside. Like we were basically able to do our strides on the track because there was one event before us. But yeah, I mean that was kind of it being kind of like a low key meet too. Kind of took off some pressure, but yeah, it was pretty cool.
Now, I think the difference between you two and what you guys did for your mile races is Josiah did this off of 6 hours of sleep. So I don't know what your excuse is if you could have not run faster if you slept longer. But no, seriously, Josiah, like I mean, you said you slept off of 6 hours. How'd you
Yeah.
manage to pull something off like that? Especially since you guys got into Boston. What was it, early morning or late at night or something like that?
Yeah, we got in super late. It was like 3:30 and I went to bed at 4, but so I think mentally that would destroy a lot of athletes, but I think for me, I mean that night I was stressing, but in the morning I felt really good and mentally I was still strong, so I don't think it during the race it really affected me too much. I think mentally it could get to a lot of people, but I was able to just, you came out to be you, no excuses, got to just come run fast. So I think I was just able to mentally pull it in and just get past the fact that, I mean, obviously not everything's going to go perfect. So that's just how racing is.
Yeah, I
Did
remember
you know that
hearing.
he would? Oh, I was gonna say, did you know that?
Yeah, I remember you telling me your guys' like travel plan because it was like wake up at like you guys left your house probably at like 6 a.m. You said, and your flight got delayed and stuff, so you didn't not get to your hotel till like 3 a.m.
Yeah. So like I had woken up at 4 a.m. Uh, Pacific time, and then got to the airport, and we had to go to Portland to Seattle, and we had like 4 hour delays in between those, and then we got to go all the way to Boston, and then between those delays, it got pushed back more. Like we got on the plane, and the air conditioning went off, and they had to switch us into a different plane and stuff. So that was just funny, but I think me and Taven were just getting on our coach's head. We are like for getting the worst flights possible. But we were just trying low key frying him, and but we were just trying to keep positive energy. It definitely wasn't it wasn't the best flights. I think Loftus might have been stressing even a little bit too. Coming 3 a.m. when we land in Boston, and we still gotta get everything that we need and head to the hotel and then to the track the next day. So that was funny.
Think it helps the fact that you're still putting more stress on your coach, and he's the one still stressing out the fact it's like, I hope we get there on time. I hope these guys are rested. Like you guys are the ones that are feeding in and putting like all this stress on him. It seems like.
Yeah, no, I think we definitely were, and my brother the whole time he helped kind of uh look at flights with Loftus, so he was calling Loftus, telling him like, why'd you get these flights? And then so me and Taven we weren't salty, but we were just trolling. We were just like, we wanted to come to BU, and you got us going 3 flights to Boston. Like, come on now, but. Yeah, we were just trolling. It was all good. I think they
And
were the cheapest flights, and getting to BU was expensive for sure.
I can only imagine what that conversation would be like with you and Susan Owen. I don't see that conversation happening at all because I feel like I don't know Susan as well enough as you do, but like I just don't see that being a conversation starter at one point.
Yeah, I'm usually not trolling her as much as you seem to be. But
But
yeah, I'm also pretty.
honestly,
Oh,
though, the opportunity, and I'll start with you, Owen. You're in that first section. It's the fast section. What I think the coolest part is you got to run against two of your dad's former athletes, in Sam Tanner and Kieran Lum. And Sam Tanner, when your dad first got to the University of Washington, was like he was the first big key addition that they had for Washington. So, how cool was that to kind of just race against them? I mean, these are guys that you probably have looked up to, and they remember watching you at practice.
yeah. I mean, it was kind of like once the heat sheets first came out, it was honestly kind of scary. I was like, I remember just seeing like in the same heat as like a 351 guy, 350 guy. I was like, what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna hold on from the back for dear life. And yeah, no, I mean, it was because my dad still coaches Kieran, so
Hmm.
I was able to talk to him about it. So I kind of knew his race plan to just kind of go out and string out the race, which I feel like favored me a little bit considering it didn't like bunch up, and I was able to just settle in pretty well. But yeah, I mean, that's by far the fastest field I've ever been in, and it's definitely a much different race than like racing up front or racing for the win.
Because
So
I had to think you were probably middle school, maybe at the end of your elementary career when Sam was in school at the University of Washington.
yeah, something like that. So he for sure remembered me, and I remember him. But it's
Yeah,
yeah,
it's kind of a nostalgic thing for you. So let's talk about the race. I mean, yeah, as you said, you were expecting the pace to get out hot, and it did. I think you guys went through the first 800 in about 156, 157. Knowing that your legs were pretty fresh, did you feel pretty comfortable with that pace?
yeah. I think I was a little slower than that, and actually my race
Okay.
was fairly like weird at the start. Like I think I went through like 209 in like 31 seconds. Like I was out way slower than I wanted to be. But then
Mhm.
I ended up picking it up and getting right back on pace. And then for sure through 800, I was hurting pretty bad, but I settled in pretty well. I was exactly where I wanted to be spot wise.
Mhm.
So then I just kind of held on and gave it all I had with 400 to go, then 200 to go. And I think really what helps me the most is just, and also what helped me a lot at that the UW Classic race too was not really focusing on the time or the clock as much, and more just focusing on the people around me. Because what I found is just if I'm able to just catch one more guy on the straightaway or one more guy this lap, then it just kind of I feel like that's just easier mentally to do, like catching people. So
What's kind of the difference between what I mean, the competition was a little bit more higher, I guess, if that's the correct way to say it. Like, did you feel there was any differences between the two fields that you ran, whether it was at the Husky Classic and this one at BU?
I mean, I think there was size wise they were pretty similar, and but honestly, both races I kind of just got like it was pretty, especially the UW one. It was like pretty violent. Like I kind of just got tossed
Hmm.
around and thrown out the back, but then I was able to just not let that get to me and just keep racing people and move up. So I think that for sure is a different style race, especially when there's like people a lot faster than you than like the race that me and Josiah ran a couple weeks ago at New Balance where we were up front. But I mean that's just kind of how racing is. It's not always going to be the same. I think it's important to get the experience of racing different types of races all the time.
Yeah, well, I'm sure now both of you guys will have an appreciation for racing against the pros and then the high school athletes. It's a totally different beast when you get up to race 21, 24, 25-year-old guys. But 356, 66. I mean, you see something like that, and you technically already had the fastest time in the state of Washington ever, Sub-4. But I mean, now that you did it on a banked 200-meter track, which we can say is now legal, and it's the fastest ever by a high school athlete. I mean, you're faster than Hobbs Kessler, who just won 2 national championships this last weekend at U.S. Indoors. What's that mean to you, and kind of just the progress you've made these last 4 years? Because really, you've only started running since you were a freshman in high school.
Yeah. I mean, I think what this means to me is like I think it's a great start, but I definitely am not done yet. Like I feel like I have a lot more ambitious goals, but I don't think where I am right now guarantees me anything as like a pro in the future. So I think I just need to keep put my head down, keep putting the work in, And hopefully eventually I can be as good as some of those guys winning the USA titles and stuff like Hobbs. But yeah, right now I'm feeling pretty good with how fast I ran, and honestly, that was kind of my goal for like outdoor season, to be able to run that fast and to be able to do that indoors off of. I think I've only been doing workouts for a little over a month now, so that's I think I have a lot more weeks of training to come, and I'll have a couple more shots in this mile in the outdoor season, and hopefully I can run faster there.
Well, between you both, you guys, we can talk about the outdoor stuff here in just a couple of minutes. But with regards to you, Josiah, I have to imagine, watching your future teammate in that first section, and we talked about it a little bit a couple of days ago, that fired you up. Like, that was just like, all right, I'm ready to get out there. I'm ready to throw some haymakers. Like, I want to get out there and do my thing. Just what was the adrenaline like on the start line for you, and just, being able to accomplish what you were able to accomplish?
Yeah, no, the adrenaline on the start line was definitely surreal, but I don't know, obviously after watching Owen go that fast, heart's beating. I'm like, dang, I gotta get after it, because me and Owen, I mean, we're gonna be training together all next year. We gotta stay right there, stay competitive, so we can push each other to the highest limit. So I was, after seeing that, I was like, I gotta go well under 3:59. So I was definitely worried, but it hyped me up, and then I was just able to go out there and run a pretty um, flawless race. I would say I got where I wanted to be, got on the rail, and was able to be really smooth.
Yeah. Did you feel like, and since you said it's smooth, I mean, since you would never had ran that fast before, did it feel smooth? I'm sure it hurt, but like, I mean, yeah, if you put yourself in a pretty good position with the right guys, then maybe it doesn't feel like it's a hard thing.
Yeah, I'd say the pace definitely felt hot right off rip. I think I went out in 58 and was a little. I kind of glanced the clock and was a little like, "Ooh, maybe I went out a little too hard." But honestly, I ended up kind of like blacking out, just kind of just hyper focused on that in the mile, and kind of just I'd say woke back up with 400 to go. I seen it was like 2:58, and right then it was no doubt in my mind. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get it." And then I was able. I don't know. Then again, I felt like I was able to really forget about the pain and just chase after those guys. I wasn't really focused on time as much. I did look at the time, but I was more focused on just trying to win the race. I just wanted to compete.
Mhm. And I think, you did run the time, but I thought the best thing of the entire race was you doing this across the finishing line, feeling that you had something lifted off your shoulders finally. Was that a moment that you felt like in that time right there?
Oh yeah, definitely. When I was running down that last 50 meters, and right when I crossed the line, I kind of looked at the clock, seeing 3:57, and yeah, it was just definitely a lot of joy right there. I've been obviously, that's my goal in high school. My biggest goal all of high school was I want to get sub 4. I want to get sub 4, and so I was just super happy to be able to accomplish that, and now just kind of enjoy the moment, and enjoy the moment for the rest of this week, and be happy with what I accomplished, but more importantly, just forget about it and get ready to keep rolling and try to compete with better and better guys and place myself in better positions throughout the season.
I think Taven beat you on the celebration side, though. I mean, and you saw it on the clip at the end of the finish line. Just the look on his face and just like disbelief. I mean, I know you didn't be able to see it initially since you're finished just ahead of him, but Owen, you see somebody like that and just disbelief. Like, was that kind of the feeling like you had when you were at the Husky Classic when you broke 4 for the first time?
I mean, yeah, I remember like watching Taven's race. I see these guys. I knew Josiah got it, but I mean, I wasn't quite sure if Taven got it. I saw see him celebrate. I remember just looking up at the board, seeing Taven hit the 3:59 as well, and then I just like rush over to those guys. I'm like, "You guys all did it. We all did it." It was just like it was a big hug, and it was a cool moment for sure.
Yeah, and then of course seeing this guy also break, you know, Hobbs Kessler's time as well, knowing that again, you two are going to be running for the University of Washington next year, and arguably you could say that maybe you guys are the two best milers that your dad has ever recruited at the University of Washington. I mean, just how special was that moment to kind of share, just breaking that national record and being 1-2 all time.
I mean, it's really cool to think about for sure. Like the fact, yeah, we're number 1 and 2 all time, and we're gonna be on the team together next year, and it really makes me like happy to think about and really hopeful to just kind of, I guess, yeah, think about what we can accomplish next year and all through college. But I mean, I don't know what Josiah's thinking, but I know for sure we've got some big things coming the
No,
next couple of years.
I totally agree. You know, I don't know. Like when you see things like that go down, it's like it's really just crazy to think about. Like
Yeah.
it's just hype. Like I don't know. I never thought like this would be the position I was going to be in going to college. And like I'm not even gonna lie, like I was definitely when I committed to Washington, I was fingers crossed, like I was just like hopefully Owen comes with me. Like I was betting on it. So and to see it come together and now us run fast times, like I mean, we talk about it all the time. We're super hyped to just room together and go after it. Like we both have similar goals, and I mean, to me, I only want to surround myself around the people that have the same goals as me, and me and Owen both have the same goals. So it's gonna be just an insane next couple of years.
Now, I don't know if the script writers were up to something, but I go back to the fall and what you guys did at Woodbridge as well. With both you guys going 1-2 in that race. Again, I don't know what the script writers are up to right there, but is that is that something you guys both thought of maybe after the mile race? It's like, oh shoot, we also did that in cross country as well at Woodbridge. Oh, and I'll start with you.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even realize that till just now. I kind of forgot about that. But yeah, because at that point I hadn't committed then, but Josiah did. And but yeah, I mean the fact that we can both do that in cross country, I know it's like a flat 3 mile course, and then we can do this in the mile too. Like we've got, I mean, training and competition. I mean, it's gonna be pretty cool to have like one of the best freshmen in the country next year be my roommate, or be on my
Mhm.
team. Like I think that's gonna bring the best out of both of us, and hopefully we can accomplish some pretty big things out of that.
Josiah, I mean, you had already committed to the University of Washington, and Owen hadn't made that decision yet. But I can imagine, kind of after that race, like you said, like you're just trying to convince him to run with you in Seattle for the next 4 years. But like going back to my point, like is that a pretty cool moment just to have right there, especially back at Woodbridge?
Oh yeah, no, it was super cool. You know, I remember when I was kind of leading it for a while, and then someone popped up on my back, and I didn't know who it was. I was nervous, and then coming around that last 100 meters, I seen it was Owen, and I was like, "Dang, this is crazy." Of course, it's Owen, bro. And then we closed it down, but right then I was just like, "Yeah, hopefully he comes to Washington, and we can just kind of keep this thing going." I feel like it's like almost a common thing now that me and Owen end up pushing each other to the line a lot of the times, and so when we bring that to training, it's gonna be just the door is wide open for sure.
Now, both you guys, as I said, you have broke four for the first time, and in the case for Josiah and Taven, they become second and third in the state of Oregon to ever break four in the mile. The first person to do it was Matthew Maton, who ran at Jesuit High School, then of course went on to the University of Oregon, which, by the way, was coached by Mr. Owen Powell's dad and Andy Powell when he was at the University of Oregon in his last couple of years. What do you remember about Matthew, Owen? If you ever, I mean, I'm sure, I'm trying to think what you had to have been 10 years old. So you were in the fifth grade, maybe 11 years old when Matthew Maytime was at school at UO. So what do you remember about Matthew when you were at that age?
Yeah, I mean, I was like really young, but I for sure remember him, and I just kind of remember him being, I just remember him being like really big. He looked really old. Like I don't really know how to explain it, but just like all the college kids just seemed like it just seemed like something that would be like, I guess, so far away from me at the time, like age wise, like they just felt so much older and bigger than me. And that was, I mean, that's kind of the main thing. I don't really know what else to
Yeah.
say.
You don't remember any like sort of interaction at practice where it's like, you know what, kid, like you're gonna be awesome one day. You're gonna be really good at this stuff, and you're probably like, dude, I'm just trying to get through the fifth grade. Like I haven't even think about running.
Yeah, I mean, more or less, like I wasn't running at that point. I honestly didn't really have even an interest in the sport. Like just even though I was surrounded by it for so long at such a young age, I just kind of really didn't. I didn't really show any interest into it until high school. But I do remember like just like my parents would bring me to work every Sunday at Hayward Field, and me and my brother my little brother would essentially just like mess around like inside the grandstands of Hayward Field, and like even like watching races and stuff. I don't even know what we'd be doing. It'd be like pre-classic or something, and me and my brother we wouldn't even care because we're just so young.
Josiah, what do you know about Matthew Maton and the legacy that he left behind in the state of Oregon?
Yeah, I mean, I know he definitely left a big legacy, and obviously I've heard about him a lot from coaches and just elders in the sport in Oregon, and just knowing how big of a figure he was in Oregon. I feel like Oregon has some really good culture, so it's always talked about. And yeah, I knew he was really good, and I knew that was someone I definitely wanted to place my name next to.
Yeah, and of course, you were so close to breaking Steve Prefontaine's 3,200 time last year at the Arcadia Invitational. So, for you now to be the best guy ever in the state of Oregon for the mile, and I'm not entirely sure what maybe ran under 4 minutes, but what does that mean? Kind of now being the face of the state of Oregon and solidifying your legacy as the guy in the indoor mile and hopefully outdoor mile.
Um, it's definitely crazy. Like I haven't really even thought about that too much yet, but it's something that is definitely insane because, I don't know, I just looked up to a lot of people coming up through the years, and like I know my freshman year of high school, it was like Oregon had the coolest class of guys ever. Like the 6A class was insane, the 5A class was insane, and the races were always crazy. So I always looked up to like just want to be better than those guys, and I always kind of never even thought about other people because I was so focused on like I don't know how am I gonna run faster than Caleb Lakeman or Michael Mariano or all those big guys that just helped me through the sport and help the state of Oregon.
Yeah. And now, Owen, for yourself, like now you've become the face of the mile, at least at the high school level in the state of Washington. I talked with, your coach just a couple weeks ago about Jerry Lindgren and, the impact that he had on the state of Washington. I mean, it took 61 years until somebody finally broke that time. Of course, I got to imagine, um, we were all not alive for that. Your parents were probably not even alive for that. Um, like how special is that really for you to like grasp that the fact that you beat one of the all-time greats in an indoor mile.
Yeah, I mean, like to just for even a couple years ago, like Jerry's records just seemed kind of untouchable, and just every year, it's they've always been a goal of mine to break them, and I think just every year, even like just every season, just I feel like I was getting closer and closer. But to finally I ended up getting. He didn't have the 800 one, but I ended up getting the 800 state record last year. That was a big breakthrough. But I wanted to get the mile one my junior year, which I ended up falling a little bit short to. But I think getting finally breaking that Washington State record in the mile and going sub-4, that was a pretty cool moment. And yeah, I still don't. He still has the 3,200 meter one, but my goal is for sure to race him off all those leaderboards.
Yeah, which is funny. I don't know if you guys know the relationship between Jerry and Steve. Of course, when Steve was alive, those two have known each other since Jerry was at Washington State University. So they both were very familiar with each other. And of course, you guys, I mean, Owen, you got Jerry's mile time, but I mean, if both you guys were to break both Pre's 32 and Jerry's 32 state record, I mean, I feel like this was just like the storybook just keeps developing these however many so odd years later. I mean, I mean, I'm trying to think of a way to really ask this, but like, I mean, to solidify your legacy and continue to do that for the next generation. Heck, we could be talking about 60 years down the road, somebody else breaking your mile record, Owen, or your mile record, Josiah. Like, what does that sound like to you guys? And something kind of looking ahead to the future, Josiah. I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think to me to solidify myself and just the sport of high school running, I just want to be. I don't know. I want to just keep running faster and just help my teammates run faster and help people that I'm friends with run faster. I honestly just want to be remembered as just an influential runner, just someone who had so many ups and downs, so many highs, so many lows, so many things that he had to push through. And I just want it just to be influential. I just want people to remember me as the guy who was just able to get it done, and I want a gritty racer, and that's what I want to be remembered as. So I just want to keep going out there and just racing hard, and just no matter the result, just be positive and be happy for what I have.
Owen,
Oh, sorry.
do you have
Yeah.
yeah. Do you have
Um,
anything to kind of just add on with that? We were just talking about.
yeah. I mean, just looking at Jerry Lindgren and Steve Prefontaine, like they left like a really like long-lasting legacy in the states of Oregon and Washington, and they're looked at as basically legends. So I think it's pretty cool that not only are they, the records are slowly falling off from them, but to do it, me and Josiah in the same like year, and also the fact that we're going to be teammates next year and probably, hopefully, keep breaking records is pretty cool to me. That sounds pretty cool to me.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, like I said, 60 years down the road, we could be talking about somebody else breaking both of your records, and it's kind of like the comparison with, Pre and Jerry Lindgren back in those days. But I know for you, Owen, like you're shutting down now. I think you're shutting down the the indoor season. No more surprises, I can assume, and you're going to go straight to outdoor. But and then Josiah, you got New Balance Nationals. It sounds like right around the corner. But looking ahead to this outdoor season, both you guys, what's the expectations, knowing that this is your last chance as high schoolers to making a lasting impression before, of course, you guys become teammates at UW next year. But Owen, I want to start with you. Coming off such a great cross season where your team won a state title in cross country, like what's the kind of the outlook for you guys' group this year? Is there a possibility that Mercer Island can bring a team trophy home this year in track?
From a state title, we'd have to probably put in a lot more work. Like we have a really strong distance team, but our sprinters and jumps and throws are still, I feel like, more developing. So a state
Mhm.
title would be hard. But I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I think to like going into the rest of this outdoor season, like I think I'm obviously I'm really happy with how this indoor season has gone so far and how cross country went. But I just keep on saying this. I'm not done yet. Like I feel like I have a lot more to accomplish. I want to keep pushing myself. Like even though people, I feel like more just like not especially runners, more just high schoolers in general. Their last semester of senior year, they're just like kind of try to coast it in. But that's not what I'm here for. I want to keep pushing myself. I want to just give my all every day and just see truly how far I can push my limits.
I like how I asked if your team could get just a state trophy, but shoot, you just want to get the state championship. It sounds like your entire group. That's your focus.
Yeah.
So we like hearing that. So Josiah, again, like Crater obviously, continues to build their legacy on the distance side. But I got to imagine you're influential in Tavens, and just the entire distance program has influenced, the entire track program. Is this a group of guys this season that, could do some damage at the Oregon State meet this year and potentially, bring home a state championship or another team trophy?
Uh, I think it's definitely a possibility. We've been close. We haven't got it done in my years, but I think we've came up third a lot. We've been pretty close. I think we've gotten second before. So we've been close. I know we always have a lot of people come out for track at the start of the year. I think my coach mentions just now like 174. I don't know. Some people would think that's like not a lot, but at Crater, that's a lot. So uh, I think we have a chance. I know we had a freshman last year win, or like the javelin. He won the javelin, so that was insane. So I think it's something on the map, but I know we've lost a lot of good people from last year, especially in like the sprints and hurdles and jumps. Some people stepping off the track, so we'll have to just see as the years go by, or I mean as time goes by, and see what we can do at the state meet.
Now, from an individual standpoint, the all-time outdoor high school record is 353.43 set by Alan Webb back in 2001, I believe. It looks like right here. Um, do you guys think with, just, I mean, you could always just talk about the shoes and the training, all that stuff, but I mean, based on what you guys have already accomplished this indoor season on arguably harder, I mean, it's not harder conditions, but it is a harder track because it's such tight turns on an indoor facility. Do you think it is possible to go after Alan Webb's all-time high school best? Josiah, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think it's definitely possible. Obviously, uh, guys of high caliber athletes are gonna set their goals as far as possible. So obviously, me and Owen would never limit ourselves. We're gonna sit there and say we can do it, but it's more something we might think about after that race and then flush it away until the end of the season. And if it happens, it happens. But yeah, I think obviously I'm not gonna limit myself. I believe anything can happen, and I'm just gonna train as hard as I can and try to run as fast as I can. I don't really care if the time falls or not. I just want to push myself to the farthest limits I can push.
Owen?
Yeah, Josiah, I think that's a good way to put it. It's not always just like chasing a time. I think my main goal always is to just see how far I can push myself. But yeah, I do think for sure that record could potentially go down. Like, I think there's no point of saying it's not possible to go after, but for sure it is looking a lot more realistic after. I mean, already having 3 guys break 4 this indoor season, and a bunch of other people right there too. Like, it could be anyone's game. I think it's really realistic. But I remember having this conversation with my coach right before indoor season. Like, we were doing some goal setting stuff, and she asked me if like that was one of my goals, and I said, I don't know. Like, that one's kind of just been a legendary goal. It's just been so untouchable for all these years. But I mean, coming up after this weekend, it's looking more and more touchable by the honestly by the race. It seems like so.
Yeah,
Seems
I
like
agree with
everybody's
that.
track. Oh, just yeah. Seems like everybody's track should be made up of the BU material for even outdoor settings. But I think kind of like close things off here. Do we got to set up a mile between you two this outdoor season? Like I don't know where it's going to happen. Like maybe it could happen at the Oregon relays because you guys are going to probably potentially see each other since both your teams are going to be there. Or maybe I'm just throwing this out there. Could you get an invitation to the Prefontaine Classic like Colin Solomon did when he ran it his senior season? I mean, which one would you guys like? Whatever happens, like, how do those sound, Owen?
Yeah, I mean, going to free would be pretty cool. I mean, I have this poster right here in my room. Like, that would, I've never really even thought of like being able to compete in that, but seeing like them having high schoolers in it before, like Colin in it, and we ended up running faster than even he did this indoor season. That would be really cool. But us being neighboring states, we actually compete fairly often. I think our first like big race this outdoor season is going to be Arcadia, and I think we're both planning on doing the 32 there. And yeah, every year, so at least for me, since my sophomore year, you did Jesuit your freshman year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think we'll face, and Taven, I think we'll all face off in this Jesuit mile in Portland again. And yeah, and whatever outdoor or whatever like championship races like Brooks PR or U20s or I don't know, whatever we race out there. I'm excited to see whatever matchups we can get.
Josiah?
Yeah, no, like you said, neighboring states. I'm definitely me and Owen will probably race each other a couple times. I would say a lot of head-to-head matchups, and I think we're both looking forward to it. We're both gonna just try to beat each other. Could be Jesuit Mile for sure. Could be Arcadia. Could be even an 800. I try to battle Owen in, but we're definitely gonna race each other. We're definitely gonna try to get the best of each other, and I think that's something we're both looking forward to. I think to me, it's the most exciting races when it's like me, Taven, Owen, and any elite high school runners, which there's so many nowadays, all competing. But there'll be also definitely other meets throughout the end of the year that we'll see each other in, and yeah, that'll be super fun. And then in terms of, I said Prefontaine Classic, I think after that race, that was something I thought about. I was like, dang, Colin did race in that, and to me that seems like the best shot to run the fastest time. And I thought about, it'd be so crazy if somehow me and Owen were in the Prefontaine Classic, just trying to go after something crazy. But obviously, I think times have changed a lot since when Colin ran in it. Now you got like Cameron Myers, I don't even know, going 3:48. Like, I don't even know if that's a race that even seems possible that we could get in with just how fast guys run. But I do
Mhm.
think if somehow something like that came together, that would be just something so special and something that would just be like, no, like there's nothing to be worried about. You just go out there and literally run as hard as you possibly can. So that'd be crazy.
I think it would be really fun to see the two fastest American high school milers go up against the 18-year-old from Australia. Like that would be such a fun race to watch, you guys. And as you said, maybe that's an opportunity where if you guys do get an invite to pre and Cam's there too, like that's probably your guys' opportunity. Because you guys probably won't compete against each other in college since I think he's already pro right now. So, but as you both have said, I mean, the outdoor season, that just gets me fired up now, just knowing that like you guys are going to be at Arcadia, you're going to be at the Oregon Relays, you're going to be at the Jesuit Twilight. I mean, the opportunities and potentially Brooks PR as well, like the opportunities that you guys get to race against each other this outdoor season is just beyond crazy. So I think the entire country, everyone mark their calendars for at least 3 of those races because you're going to see the 2 fastest indoor high school milers go at it together against each other once again this outdoor season. And of course, they're going to be teammates next year at the University of Washington. So Josiah Tostenson, Owen Powell, really appreciate both your guys' times. Again, congratulations on this huge milestone for both you guys. And I wish you guys nothing but the best in your future endeavors, and especially when you guys reach the University of Washington and lead the Huskies the next 4 years. Appreciate your guys' time.
Thanks,
Thank
Keenan.
you so much. Thank you, Keenan.